Kyle, I'm sorry about today. Having to spend all of today with Grace like that. Was she able to make it back to your place all right?
Grace just made it back to my place a few minutes ago. By the way, Mom, you let her bring home some cake with her, right? I was doing so good with her. Did you buy that for her at some point while she was with you?
Well, you were the one that let her come over and stay with me for a bit, so I thought it would be all right for her to have some. There is enough cake for you and your daughter as well there. So the three of you should all eat it. But of course, at this point in the day, your little girl is already asleep, right?
Well, Jill is still in elementary school after all. So, 8 p.m. is her time for bed. She's completely out right now. I'll have her eat some of the cake tomorrow.
Please do that for me. Now, when it comes to Grace, I know it's been a long time since the last time her and I were able to meet. But my gosh, she's lost a lot more weight than I was expecting.
You think so? I thought she still had more to lose, to be honest with you.
Really? I mean, look at her. The last time I was able to see her in person, she had a bit more meat on her, and not in a bad way. This time, I didn't want to say anything to her about how thin she'd looking, just because that's none of my business, but has she been feeling sick at all lately?
Well, I don't think she's been feeling bad or anything. She doesn't really say anything to me about it.
Then I really wonder why she's that thin now. I'm not kidding when I say she's so thin it has me worried.
Oh, come on now, Mom. You're going a little too far there. She's not that thin, I promise. These days, women her size are normal.
Kyle, are you trying to tell me that the way she looks now is not that thin? No matter how you look at her, she is way too thin for her height. I'm sorry, but you can't possibly want your wife looking that thin at the age she is. Have you really been checking up on her enough to be there in case she needs you?
Well, I will say that she has gotten a bit thinner since the last time I took a good look at her. But I think that's it. She goes out a lot with Jill to the playground and such, so maybe all that exercise is working. Maybe that's what made her shrink.
You think it's that simple? No human can become that thin from going to the park and playing all the time. There has to be something more behind this. Could there be something going on in her life right now that's really causing her lots of stress? Have you been talking with her at all about her feelings and what she's been going through? Perhaps she's been so overwhelmed with having to cook and clean and take care of Jill all day, every day?
Jeez, come on now, Mom. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you go on and on all day about things that aren't a problem here. You're getting way too nosy about everything going on in my life. Alright, Mom? This is the reason I never like coming back to your house to see you.
That has nothing to do with your wife, though. I was just asking about what could be causing her to lose so much weight. But now you want to talk about not ever coming to my house anymore. Can't you at least come once a month or something? I want to see you. It's because of you never coming over anymore that I haven't even been able to see my granddaughter's face in so long.
Maybe next time. By the way, you had a class reunion today, right? Tell me how that all went.
I find that you always want to change the topic when things start to get a little touchy with you, Kyle. This must mean you're doing something to Grace that's making her become so thin, right?
Alright. I'll be more careful. Now, tell me how things went. It's been 20 years or so now since you last had a class reunion, right? Were you able to see plenty of faces you haven't seen in so long?
Well, after 20 years of not seeing many of them, it sure was a lot of faces that had changed a bit. But that's the reason we had the reunion. In order to check up on everyone and see what's changed in their lives. Everyone's gotten so old now, and it's really began to show.
Well, it's been 20 years since you last saw a lot of them, and you guys are all getting to that age. And let me tell you, normally people won't talk about how others look like you all have. I guess that's a trait older people begin to share.
I suppose so. Now that we're on the topic, there was one other thing I was surprised by.
What?
I had no idea about this for a long time, it seems. But one of my classmates from way back in the day happens to be your boss now. He told me that you've been working really hard in the office and everything.
What? My boss? Who?
They told me not to tell you who they are, so I'm not saying a word more.
Why can't you tell me? You have me on the edge of my seat now.
They didn't want you to start worrying about their relationship with me, hence why they don't want you learning any more about it. Just know that they think you're doing a great job at work. And if you are still worried, just know that I'm probably not going to see them anymore now. So you can relax and forget all about this.
Well, if you're really not going to be around them anymore, I guess I won't mind it.
Also, if you feel you have the time to be worrying about something like this, then that means you have the time to be worried about what's going on with Grace these days. So please go and make sure she's feeling all right. You have to make sure there isn't something more serious behind everything. What if it's cancer or something? You never know unless you go and talk with her more about it.
All right. I hear you. I'll make sure she's fine. Well, I've got work in the morning, so I'm gonna hit the hay. Good night.
Alrighty then. Good night.
Grandma, can you teach me how to make chicken noodle soup?
Jill, what's been going on with you now? I can teach you the recipe and everything for the soup, but it's rare of you to ever text me about anything. Why do you need to learn from me how to make chicken noodle soup? I don't remember you ever liking things like chicken noodle soup at all.
Mom's fallen ill and she's not able to eat any food. So I wanted to make something easy for her to eat. I always eat chicken noodle soup when I'm sick, right?
Your mom has fallen sick? Where's your dad? You have to go and tell your dad to take her to the doctor right away.
I know that, but right now Dad's not home.
Is he outside in the yard? It's the weekend now, so your dad shouldn't be at work or anything, right? He should be at home with you all. Let me call him for you, and he should be able to come back inside in no time.
I did call him about this, but he said he's not coming home. He told me to take care of Mom for him.
Your mom fell ill, right? And he's told you that he won't come home to help her? Where is your dad right now?
He told me he's at his girlfriend's house.
Huh? Girlfriend's house? You're telling me that your dad has a girlfriend?
Yes, he does. He has a girlfriend.
I'm sorry, Jill. Right now your grandma's a little surprised by all of this. Does your mom know that your dad has a girlfriend?
Yes. Mom knows about her.
Is that right? And your mom has not said anything to your dad about it?
When she tries to talk to him, he doesn't listen. I know that Mom likes to go and cry a lot when he's not home. But I don't like it when Mom is crying like that.
I don't like it that she's crying either. I don't think anyone should.
Yeah. But, Grandma, I think this is all my fault.
How could any of this be your fault? You're saying it's your fault your mom is crying?
Before, Mom and Dad were fighting, and I went to Mom to ask her something. I asked her to stop fighting with Dad and to be friends again.
Well, it's not your fault for asking that. You are not to blame for anything, Jill, okay? Have their fights only started to get worse now?
No. After asking that, they no longer fight anymore. But after asking that, Mom started to feel and look bad. She no longer looks happy around any of us. She doesn't want to eat her food anymore. And she gets sick a lot more and becomes really hot.
Jill, I think you telling your mom not to fight anymore with Dad made her worry about scaring you. But you thought it was your fault that your mom is always crying now because she only started to do it after you said something?
Yes. I think that I did something bad and that it's my fault. Hey, Grandma, am I a bad girl? Am I really a bad girl to my mom and Dad?
Not at all, Jill. And I don't think your mom thinks of you as a bad little girl either.
Really?
Yes, really. And that's why right now, your mom would rather be sick and cry alone rather than fight with your dad in front of you.
What do you mean?
Don't worry. You don't have to know about any of this at your age. Also, we should be worried about your mom right now, okay? Is her head really hot right now?
Yes. She told me earlier that she started to feel really sick again, too. What should I do, Grandma?
You can calm down, Jill. I'm going to get in my car right now and come over to your house.
Is that okay?
Of course it's okay. I want to get you and your mom and take your mom to go and see the doctor right away. And then after she's been cared for by the doctor, we can all go back home and make chicken noodle soup.
Okay.
Just wait a little bit with your mom. I'm coming to your house right now. Kyle, I have something very, very important to talk with you about. When you have time, you reply to me right away. I'm sure you're looking at your phone right now, right? This is something very important to your whole family, so I want you replying to me right now.
What do you want, Mom? I'm really enjoying my day off from work, and you keep annoying me. What could you possibly have to talk with me about that has you messaging me nonstop? Did something happen to you?
I took Grace and your daughter to the hospital with me.
To the hospital? You took Grace to the hospital? Why would you be taking her to the hospital on a weekend?
Jill told me that her mom had passed out after having a fever all day long. So I ran over to your house right after hearing that.
Is that right? And? Did the doctor find anything life-threatening out about her?
They say that this was all due to a simple cold, and as of right now, she's on fluids and is being treated for it. She's even had a couple bites to eat and took her medication. Now she's off to bed. So, you don't have to worry about her physical health right now. Not about her cold, at least.
I'm sorry about that, Mom. You had to do a lot of things, all for something else she should have been able to handle herself as a grown woman. Well, if there isn't a problem now, that's great.
You don't think there's any more problems now? You know for a fact that there are still plenty of them that need to be dealt with now. There are far too many problems right now for you to be acting so nonchalant about.
But you told me that Grace is starting to look a lot better now, and that it was just a simple cold. Are there any other problems with her?
There are! Leaving a woman like that in the care of a child when she's passed out on the floor with a fever? We have so many problems now because you thought it was all right to stay out and keep messing around.
Wait, are you talking about me? Now I get what you're trying to say there, Mom. But there was a reason that I couldn't just come home to help out.
Well, explain that to me then. What reason do you have?
I was out with my boss from work playing a few games of golf. And I have to keep up a good image with the big man in order to have any chance at a large promotion in the future. To be honest, I didn't even know about Grace having a fever in the first place before leaving today. So, I'm sorry, but there was nothing I could do today.
For crying out loud! You are not a frickin' child anymore, Kyle! So stop telling me such weak lies as that, because I can see right through them.
Huh? What kind of lies do you think I'm telling you? I'm not lying about a single thing, alright?
You went out on a date with your girlfriend, right? Jill told me everything about that.
My girlfriend? Please. Why would I ever have one when I've got a wife? I'm married already. I think that Jill has just made some kind of mistake, which happens often with little girls her age.
Well, your wife is telling me the same thing here. However, it took her a long time to start talking about that with me because she was scared. Are you trying to tell me that both your wife and daughter are mistaken now?
That witch started to talk now? Well, you're going to figure out all about this sooner or later. So, I guess it doesn't matter.
So what you're saying is it's true that you have a girlfriend, right? You're agreeing? You left your sick wife at home and went out to have an affair?
Well, I never kept any of this hidden from Jill or Grace anyway. Actually, I think we all did one hell of a job keeping it hidden from you. I have to commend my family for that. I had assumed Grace would be the type to tell you right away about all of this.
From the way you're telling me that, you must not know the reason as for why she never came to get help from me. You really are such a pathetic little boy. I am saddened by all that's happened within my family.
I think I know the reason she never blabbed about it. She probably didn't want a divorce because she'd never be able to survive on her own in this world. She's a smart cookie, and knows that if she told anyone outside of my house, I might leave her and Jill and she'd be left to die. Huh.
That's not her reason at all.
Then tell me what it is.
You never hid the fact that you were cheating on your wife from Jill, right? That means Grace could have had it easy in court. She could have gotten a huge settlement from you and the full custody of Jill without even having to break a sweat. She had no reason to not tell me because of a divorce and her not being able to manage afterwards.
So? Tell me the frickin' reason, Mom.
She chose not to tell anyone for Jill's sake. Jill had asked your wife to make up with you after what you'd told them, and she didn't want you two fighting anymore. And that's why Grace had to suck it up and hope for the best while sacrificing herself to act kindly around you.
Huh? You're gonna tell me that for a reason as stupid as that, she chose to avoid divorce? What a freaking idiot she is! There could be so many other reasons better than that, yet she chooses to use this as the most stupid of them all?
You are a frickin' bastard. You're right. There may have been better reasons to not have wanted a divorce from you. But I think her reasoning for staying quiet and never fighting back at you anymore was the best reason out of all of them. And by the way, the fact that you're sitting there on the other end of this phone laughing at Grace for being an idiot makes you the real idiot.
Alright. I see now. And? Are you only texting me right now to try and preach to me about this? Can we be done here? Unlike you and those other two, I'm a very busy man.
Yeah, we're done here. I figured you out and have no use in talking to you anymore. And because of that, Grace and I are all ready to go.
Ready to go? Don't make me laugh. Let me tell you right now, that even if Grace does choose to divorce me, I won't care. Losing her, losing some money, and losing custody of Jill will not bother me any. Do you understand that?
What about if I told you I'd be cutting ties with you as well?
Honestly, I've been fed up with her for a long time now. So if you're going to cut ties to me as well, then be my guest and leave. If Grace really wants a settlement and custody of the brat, then she can have it all.
Wow. Are you sure?
Yep. Do whatever you guys want. I don't care about any of you.
Well then, we will do what we want from now on. But when you regret what you've said here today, I'm not going to listen. All right?
I told you to go already. I plan on getting married to my girlfriend now, so there's no going back to any of you. No matter what you guys try and do about any of this, it's too late to change my mind.
Kyle, thank you so much for getting that divorce from Grace. Because of that, now the two of them can live a happy and healthy life.
Huh? Are you trying to play with me now? By the way, wasn't it you that said you were cutting ties to me after the divorce? Why are you talking to me now after saying all that crap? I'm very busy right now, so just stop talking to me.
What's wrong? Are you sure that you're really that busy right now? What's been going on that's kept your hands tied up?
It has nothing to do with you, Mom. I just told you that you wanted to cut ties to me, so you're nothing but a stranger now. So go the hell away and leave me alone.
Wow, you seem to have woken up on the wrong side of the bed today. Ah, that's right. There is a reason for you being so busy at the moment. Can I take a few guesses as to what the reason could be?
Huh? What the actual frick is going on with you? You're starting to really get on my nerves here. Even if you were still my mom, I'd want you to stop all that crap.
Okay then, okay. I'm assuming that you're so grumpy because you're no longer able to talk to your girlfriend, right? Maybe she doesn't want to talk to you anymore?
What are you talking about?
You're asking me that? I thought that was the reason as to why you're acting like such a witch right now. I mean, you had been talking about how you'd marry her, right? Not being able to get any replies from her would drive you insane, right?
Why do you know about all of that?
Well, I have a great reason for knowing. I learned about you and her from her dad.
You heard from her father?
Well, this world is really that much smaller than many of us like to think. To think that the woman my son had been cheating on his wife with would be one of my old classmates' daughters. I never thought that going back to another reunion after 20 years would teach me something as interesting as that.
Are you talking about the person you met? That you said he was my boss?
Right on the mark. He happens to be the man in charge of you in the office. It's just crazy learning about how my son was having an affair with his boss's daughter like that. I'm sure you're starting to get all stressed out over this now, huh? And you thought that me finding out about you cheating on your wife wouldn't cause you any harm, right? You really are the stupidest man this side of the earth.
You stop playing with me this minute. Are you trying to tell me that the reason she has been responding to me is because you told my boss about this? What the hell do you think you were doing?
What? Are you starting to get upset with me now? I think you should stop acting so childish right now, Kyle.
Am I not supposed to be this upset with you? You screwed things up for me now, so I have every right to be pissed off at you.
But you said it yourself, right? You told me that we were free to do whatever we wanted. So all I did was the things I wanted to, like you said. It's a bit strange of you to start complaining about that now, after you said you wanted that from us.
If I'd have known things would have turned out this way, I would have never told you that. What the hell am I gonna do now?
Do about what, Kyle?
Stop acting like this whole situation is completely screwed now. You know dang well that my boss is gonna be pissed at me now, right?
Well, I can see why he would be, yes. Of course his daughter is to blame for a lot of this as well. But you were the one that chose to cheat on your wife, so he's going to choose you to be his next victim.
You've gone and pissed off the company I work for. How am I supposed to go into work now when everyone is going to hear about this? Did you know that both my girlfriend and I were planning to pay Grace that settlement? But now I'm not even going to be able to talk with my girlfriend about it anymore. What the hell should I be doing right now?
Asking me what you should do isn't going to get you anywhere. How about you settle down and think all this through yourself?
You have no right saying that crap to me after forcing me into this mess. Do you not feel bad about the things you did to your own son?
I'm so sorry, but I don't have any sons. All I have left now is my wonderful daughter and my cute little granddaughter. I am only the mother of a woman in this house, and in order to make sure they are both treated the best, like they should be, I can't focus on some deranged stranger like you. After that, the divorce of Kyle and Grace ended up going really well, and she was awarded custody of her daughter. Of course, she'd also be getting money from Kyle in the form of a settlement, and he'd still have to pay her child support every month until Jill turns 18. Along with this, talks about what had happened in Kyle's family began to spread around his office, and that ended up losing him his promotion that he was seeking out. Soon after that, though, everyone continued to give him the cold shoulder, and not long after, he quit his job there. And on top of that, he no longer was able to get in touch with his girlfriend, like he told me before, and was left with nobody by his side willing to help him. Right now, he is working a part-time job at a gas station, and is using all the money he earns to pay off the settlement and pay child support to Grace. When it comes to the girlfriend of Kyle and the settlement she owes, her father, the boss of Kyle, before Kyle quit, stepped in and paid the settlement in full as an apology for what his daughter did. A few weeks after the well-deserved divorce, Grace has begun to feel a lot better and started to eat a lot more again to fill up the skin and bones she'd been for so long. The reason that Jill never wanted her mom fighting is because she really hated to see her in such a hopeless state. But now that those two are no longer in the presence of Kyle, Jill has been able to see her mom's smiling face a whole lot more. Those two happen to be living close by to my house right now, and are so close to me now that I can go over to their house every day to say hi and help out. I'm going to make sure that for as long as I'm alive and well, I cater to those two as much as possible, as they both deserve to be treated after the monster that was Kyle.
Hello, Ellen. I have a little bit of stuff that I'd like to talk with you about and get your opinion on. Do you think you can chat with me for a second?
Well, hello, Kim. I have all the time in the world to talk with you. What did you want to talk with me about?
Well, this is about your son, Jeremy. Recently, he's been a bit of a pain in my butt. And, I wanted to tell you about him to see what you think and in what ways you can help.
What do you mean he's been a pain in your butt, though? Because, as his mom, I can understand that sometimes. Did he do something to you this time that you really didn't like?
Well, for a little bit now, things with his behavior have changed. I've tried time and time again to talk with him about it, or really anything, and he gives me the cold shoulder. Right now, it's like he's not even bothering to listen to me anymore. And he's also been saying he's coming home late every day and won't let me cook a thing for him. If he didn't want me to make anything for him, then he should tell me before I've already started making dinner, though.
That is a bit too far, even for him, isn't it?
Sometimes he won't even tell me that he's coming home from work late at all, and I begin to worry about him. And those times I do make something for him to eat, just in case he does come home. He'll show up late in the night and go right to sleep without saying sorry.
I never knew he was the type of person to do things like that. Since when did he start to behave like that?
Maybe 2 months or so ago? And these last few weeks, we haven't even spoken to one another at all.
That must be really hard for you, Kim. I wonder what the heck has gotten into Jeremy then.
And it hasn't just been not showing up back home until late every night and him not talking to me anymore. He also runs off somewhere every weekend and never tells me about it. We still have a little kid at home, so it would be nice of him to stay close by and maybe help me out a little. But it's like he doesn't even care about the family anymore. Do you think he thinks it's okay to leave me in charge of everything in this house? Maybe he's the kind of guy that thinks women are supposed to be home all the time and take care of everything for them. If that's the case, then he needs to get his head out of the 1900s.
He really does. I think you have that right about him. He thinks that he can do whatever he wants because he's the man, but in this day and age, both the husband and wife need to be taking care of the house.
Right? The only time he ever seemed to care for our kid was right when I gave birth to her. He's not even hugging her anymore now and will ignore her whenever she begins to cry. It's like he never wanted me to have a baby in the first place. She'll even try going over to him from time to time, and he'll just get up and go to another room.
He's acting that way towards Lynn as well now? But he was so happy when you gave birth to her, like he'd never let her go.
I'm getting really tired of this from him. I'm sorry that I've had to bring this all up with you, Ellen, but the way he's acting towards his family right now is not okay.
I can see that, and I agree with you. I'm sorry that my son is being a lot worse than he normally has been in the past.
I'm starting to become jealous of other families now because of how hard life is around him. No matter who I look at, they always seem to be so happy, and both the husband and wife work together to make sure things stay happy.
And you are totally right. Recently, families have become a lot stronger, with both the husband and wife sharing equal responsibilities. Now that we're talking about Jeremy, how has his job been going for him? Wasn't he just going through the busy season there?
He was, but I'm not sure he is anymore. He used to tell me he was always so busy at work, but recently he never tells me anything about his job.
Well, maybe he's just burnt out after that. And maybe that's why he no longer has any time for anyone besides himself. We've all experienced times like that before, so maybe he just needs some space so that he can recharge.
But I'm not going to take that as an excuse for him always giving me the cold shoulder every single day. I'm sure that he's feeling really tired out right now, but so am I. However, unlike him, I can't just take time off and ignore everyone. And when it comes to our daughter, it doesn't matter how we're feeling. We have to be around the house for her. That's why I'm jealous of all these other young families, because the husband is working together with their wife to get things done. I feel like Jeremy is completely different from everyone else.
I think so too. I'm sorry about that. You happen to be just as busy as he is, if not more busy now that he's not helping out anymore. Having to do the chores and raise a child by yourself every day must be awful for you. It shouldn't matter how busy he is at work during the week, because he should at least be around the house on the weekend to work together with you. I think he's made a bad choice, forcing you to handle everything there all by yourself.
You understand the problem here, right? It's an extremely tough thing having to raise such a small little girl. Lynn happens to cry a lot in the middle of the night, and my family's house is too far away for me to rely on them for help. I'm going to be honest, I'm at my limits right now, mentally and physically.
I am so very sorry about Jeremy. He might have been a little monster when he was younger, but as he grew up, he became so much nicer, and I thought that meant he'd become a really good husband for any woman to have. To think he's strayed this far?
He is the complete opposite of what we all thought at first. I also assumed he was a really nice guy, and that's the reason I said yes to him. And I don't think this has anything to do with Lynn being born, right? I think he's just been hiding his true self from me in order to use me. Had I known he'd turn out this way after marriage, I would have never married him and carried his baby.
I see. I'm sure you're starting to regret things now when he's been completely avoiding you like that.
Right? It's so difficult for me that I just can't take it anymore. Recently, while it's just been Lynn and I in the house, I begin to have tears roll down my face. I get lonely, and I really start to regret all the choices I've made in life. I'm starting to go crazy having to deal with a man like him.
I'm so sorry. How about this? I'll come over to your guys' place from now on and lend you a hand. I'll do the chores with you and take care of Lynn when you need a break.
No, you don't have to do that for me. Before you even have to think about doing that, how about you go and have a talk with Jeremy about this? He's not listening to me anymore, and I don't even think he notices I'm around anymore. If he doesn't start to get himself straight here, I am going to really begin to fall apart.
All right then. I want to go and ask him about why he's done a 180 like that and will no longer talk to you or handle any of the chores or care for Lynn. It's one thing for him to treat you with a cold shoulder, but doing it to avoid his own daughter to the point he avoids her? That is completely unacceptable.
Perhaps this could mean that Jeremy's been having an affair? And that's why he no longer cares about the family he has at home anymore? If that's the reason for all this, then I guess I could understand why he's been acting that way. But of course, that would be the worst case scenario for me.
I really don't think I can see my son ever doing something as ridiculous as that, but thinking of it all now, if he was having an affair, it would explain all that's been going on with him. All right, I'm going to go have a chat with my son for you. I really am sorry for what's been happening to you and Lynn.
I myself am sorry for bringing all of this up with you so suddenly. But I'm telling you right now, it's only a matter of time before I give up completely and fall apart. So please, do your best to figure things out for me.
Jeremy, what has gotten into you?
What are you talking about?
I've heard a lot of things from Kim about you. Forcing her to take care of everything in that house by herself is not okay.
Wait, what are you actually talking about, Mom?
You've been leaving your wife and daughter to deal with everything at home while you run off and give them the cold shoulder, right? You haven't even bothered helping with the chores or caring for Lynn anymore. And that's on top of you never talking to Kim anymore. What the heck has been going on with you, Jeremy?
She came to you and told you all of that? I haven't been acting cold towards her whatsoever, though, Mom.
Please do not lie to me. I heard all of this from her just a little bit ago, and she was acting like she wanted to cry even more over it. She was telling me about how you've been acting really poorly recently, and she asked me to come and talk with you about it.
What does she mean I've been acting poorly recently? What all did she tell you about me that made you believe her?
Well, she's told me about your behavior towards your family, and it seems you've been avoiding both of them every single day now. Right now, Kim is starting to question whether you might be cheating on her or not.
Huh? She's been questioning me? Why is she telling you of all people things like that about me right now?
Well, you have been acting abnormal recently, so she has no other choice but to question you. It's not good for a husband to never care about his wife. And she's asking me to handle you now because you won't ever listen to her anymore. Why are you doing all of this to her when she hasn't done anything wrong to you?
What is she talking about? She wants you to come and set me straight or something then.
Well, I have to because it's a fact that you've been acting horribly towards your family. I have no other choice now than to help her figure out what's going on with you. I understand that you've been busy with work and all, but you have to be there for your wife and daughter as well. Your daughter is still really young, and it's tough on Kim to have to raise her alone. So please, go and help your wife out with everything, and stop acting like a selfish brat. If you want to be a father, you have to do what's right. And taking care of your child is the #1 thing on your list of being a father.
The one that needs to start acting like a parent is Kim, though. That witch has started to drag you into all of this now.
What are you talking about? No matter how I try and look at this, you're the one in the wrong.
The only one that's in the wrong here is Kim. I have not done a single thing wrong, okay? It's her fault for starting all of this. And now she thinks that she can get my mom on her side to defend her for it?
Why are you starting to get so upset over this? You were the one that started to force her to take these drastic actions. You can't blame her for talking the truth about things in her house when you're not even bothering to work together with her anymore to make things right.
Bullcrap. You must not know the first thing about Kim then, Mom. You should be more doubtful of her, instead of just blindly believing everything she said.
Why are you saying so many bad things about her? You've been the one completely ignoring your wife and daughter, all just to have some time to yourself, right? Yet even now, after I've confronted you on that bad behavior, you're not going to just accept that you've been wrong and need to change? Just like Kim called you, you've become a really bad husband, a pain in the ass.
You have everything wrong though, Mom. You and I have both been lied to by Kim, and for a long time now.
What do you mean we've been lied to by her?
I didn't want to get you worried about me, and that's why I never told you anything. But if she's going to get you to join her side now, then I'm going to have to speak the truth. Just know that I've done nothing wrong, and I'm going to let you know why that is.
Excuse me, can we talk right now?
Oh, what's going on, Kim? Is there something else you'd like to talk to me about?
Yes, something really bad has happened. Ellen, my husband has just gotten up and vanished on me.
Oh, is that so? So you can't find my son anywhere? I'm sure you're surprised by that, right?
What do you mean? Of course I'm surprised and freaking out right now. Now, could you stop saying things like that when you should be just as worried as I am now? I'm talking about your son after all going missing.
I'm sorry about that. And so, you found out that my son is no longer around and you've come to me about it. Why?
You have to know why. He just left the house out of nowhere and has not come back yet, which is a huge problem for someone like me. I can't raise a baby and support myself all on my own, so please help me.
If you want me to help, then let me know in what way.
Can you start sending me money each month now that Jeremy isn't around to pay for things? If I can't get the support I need now, it just won't be myself but Lynn that has to live through hell as well.
So you want me to start sending you money then? No way. That child is yours after all, so you need to figure all that out yourself. Good luck.
What do you mean, no way? It's because of your son that I'm having to go through hell right now on my own. So to make up for his behavior, I want you to start sending me money.
You can say that it's all his fault all you want. But why should I have to be the one to step in for him?
Are you being serious right now, Ellen? I don't even have access to my husband's debit or credit cards anymore. If I don't get help financially right now, I won't be able to pay for the house next month. You are his mother, so take responsibility for him and help me out.
When you say you need me to send you money, you would most likely need a couple thousand every month, right? I'm sorry, but I don't have that kind of money to just hand out. I have to take care of myself, you know.
Are you just going to act like you don't care that our lives over here are going to be over if we don't get the money we need? This is your granddaughter's life as well on the line.
Actually, to be honest, I don't really care what happens to you both at all.
Huh? You don't give a crap about your granddaughter? Do you really think it's okay saying something like that about a baby? You and your son are both terrible people.
Well, if it really was my grandchild, then I guess I would be a terrible person. But Lynn is not my son's child. So that means she's absolutely nothing to me but a stranger.
Why are you starting to say the most crazy things about your own family now? You think you can use an excuse like that to get out of having to care for your daughter-in-law and granddaughter?
I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm just explaining the truth to you, and that's all. Lynn is not my son's kid at all, right? You happened to make that girl with another man, who was not my son, right?
Huh? What are you talking about? I have no freaking idea why you think that now.
Really? You have no idea why? Then I guess I'll have to explain what's happened with you to you a bit more. You happened to cheat on my son. And while you were with that man, you became pregnant with Lynn, right?
I cannot believe what I'm hearing. You are acting way out of line right now, saying such rude things as that. Just because you don't have the heart to care for your family doesn't mean you get to start blaming me. Seriously, both you and Jeremy are the worst people I have ever met.
Are you done yet? Listen to every word I'm about to tell you. The reason why your husband started to behave differently around you is because of a very, very important reason. He became aware that you'd been cheating on him with someone else. And because of that realization, he no longer wanted to be home with you anymore, and he couldn't even stand seeing your face. If you would like me to tell it to you straight, what you've been doing really broke my son's heart.
I have not been cheating on him. What the hell has started happening with you now, Ellen?
Jeremy learned about you cheating on him many months ago. He noticed a text pop up on your phone from the other man you were cheating on Jeremy with, and that's when things changed. After seeing that later in the night while you were sleeping, he took your phone and looked into who that was some more. He found in your photos that there were hundreds upon hundreds of pictures in there of you and that other man.
That just happens to be one of my friends who's a guy. He must have seen that photo we took together and misunderstood what was going on. Taking a picture together with your friend is not something he can start acting all crazy about.
But that's not the only evidence he has of you cheating.
Why are you saying evidence? I told you that you both have it all wrong, so there's no point in bothering with it anymore. Are you and him trying to harass me or something now?
He started to question whether Lynn and him were really related by blood after his first discovery. Do you know the answer to that? Is my son related by blood to Lynn? If you know that answer, then I shouldn't have to say more, right? I know the answer. I looked at those DNA tests he had taken.
What? He had a DNA test taken?
Yes, and yesterday we finally got the test results from the clinic. And guess what we learned? We learned that there is in fact no blood relation between the two of them. In other words, that means you slept with another man while with my son, and that other man got you pregnant. You should know already that Lynn is the other man's child, right? So you can cut it out with all those excuses and come quietly.
You're wrong.
Wrong about what?
What I've been doing is not cheating.
What are you going on about now? We've already know about who the other man is you've been with. The one whose daughter happens to be Lynn. He happens to be an old friend of yours from your hometown, and even Jeremy has seen him in person before. And when Jeremy found out that he'd been going out with you, he was in shock.
That man just happens to be a friend of mine from middle school. He was one grade above me is all.
And back in your hometown, there is some history between you both.
I get that some people think he looks a little sketchy from the outside, but on the inside, he's so kind. He's not a bad man for what happened.
Ah, so here we go. You really have been in love with him more than my son. Is it true, then, that you and him have had a close relationship with one another all the way since middle school? And even when you married my son, that relationship carried on? You have it wrong! For the time being, we all know that it's a fact that you stabbed Jeremy square in the back. My son is in complete shock from everything and has not spoken to me anymore today. He's off with a lawyer now, and they're both preparing to have you taken to court in order for my son to get a settlement for this. Prepare yourself.
Are you guys planning to throw me and my kid away then?
You stabbed my son and myself in the back, Kim. There's no reason for my son to ever want to be back together with you or the baby ever again. He's going to get this divorce, and he's going to make sure the kid goes to you.
Even if he's not related to Lynn by blood, there was still a time when he looked at her as though she was his own. Yet you guys think you can just split my family in half and not face any consequences? Even if he isn't the father, he had cared for her as his daughter, and we can still make things work.
He would much rather hurt you both by leaving than force himself to be around someone who doesn't love him. From what Jeremy has told me, he can't even look Lynn in the face anymore without feeling pain. You were the one to cause all of this, and now my son can no longer love you both. It really hurts him too much, and his heart cannot take it. He shouldn't have to support you guys anymore after the truth we've learned.
Do you not even feel bad for the baby, though? She'll have to live the rest of her life without a father, and I feel so sorry because of that.
You were the one that did this to her, so you should be feeling sorry for her. Stop trying to make my son and I feel bad for your mistakes. If you want to have a father for your daughter, then go get her real father to marry you. He's the one that made her with you, after all.
I can't rely on someone like him. He and I were only with one another for the sex.
But I thought you said he was a great man, a very nice guy, even. Well, I guess those rumors that everyone in your hometown were telling about him are true. Do you like having sex with men that sleep with hundreds of other women? Well then, why did you ever marry my son when you were the one that took his virginity? My son is nothing like that man you let impregnate you, so why bother with my son?
It's not like that, though. I just got a little bored of Jeremy.
Do not BS me like that. You became bored with my son and thought that that was a good enough reason to cheat on him? You've already gone and broken my son's heart and left him without a single apology, and now you're going to say it was all because he was boring? You really did a great job this time, ruining someone else's life like that.
I'm so sorry about that. I guess I did end up cheating on him, but I'm no longer meeting with that other man now. What happened with him is all in the past now, so let's just let it go.
You'd better shut the hell up with all that crap right now, or I'm going to... Ugh. You are really starting to be a pain in the ass for me right now. You say that like it happened years ago, when really it's all been going on this year. My son and I are not going to forgive you for any of what you've done.
Ellen, tell my husband to stop what he's doing, please, please, please.
You want me to stop him? Whatever for?
The amount of money he's asking me for in the settlement is outrageous.
I think he's asking you for the perfect amount if you ask me. You damaged his heart, and it's going to take years to fix it now. So there needs to be some way to fund it. Remember that you cheated on my son for a very long time, and that you forced my son to take on the baby you had with another man without ever telling the truth.
But if he takes that kind of money from me, I'm not going to be able to carry on. You realize that I'm going to be all on my own now, having to take care of Lynn, right? I need all the money I can get.
Why do you think I want to sit here and listen to you complain again? If it's going to be that bad for you, go find the man you let grow a baby in you and start living with him. Or perhaps ask for him to start paying child support.
There's no way that will happen. He's already told me he's not taking responsibility for the baby. Also, he happens to be engaged to someone else now.
That seems to be the case, huh? I heard that from Jeremy a little bit ago, and that shocked me a bit. But based off what's happened here, he's going to lose his fiancée, right?
Has he gone and spoken to my parents about this? My parents have started to harass me about all this, and it's making things even worse for me.
He's divorcing you, so he had to speak with them about it.
But Why is everyone on his side about all of this? Not even my own parents are wanting to help me anymore.
And I myself received a call from your parents saying they were sorry. They told me that you are a complete embarrassment to their family and that they hope after all this you learn to behave yourself. Apparently they know about that little old friend of yours who got you pregnant, and they've always hated him. I guess even your family is not on your side anymore, and they never were to begin with, huh?
This is the first time I've ever been yelled at so much by my parents, though. They even told me that they won't help with the settlement.
That's because it's a settlement that you have to pay. The judge never once said that your parents had to pay for any of it. This is what you get, Kim. They are not the ones that made all those stupid decisions.
How am I supposed to take care of Lynn, though, if I'm losing everything? We're both going to be ruined by you all. Why do I have to be the one being punished this badly when I'm the one with the baby?
Because you're a crazy witch and deserve to be sent to hell for what you did to my son. And the funny thing is, with all of this, you still don't really seem to understand that you've done anything wrong. You started to worry more about the man that impregnated you than your own husband.
Huh? What are you talking about? What does any of that mean?
When Jeremy went over to your other man's place to get the settlement from him, he told Jeremy about you. He said that you were the one that asked him to go to the hotel with you and made sure to poke a hole in the condom while there. He told Jeremy about how after a few months, you told him you were sorry for doing that, and as a way of showing how sorry you were, you'd make Jeremy care for the baby. To be honest, your man didn't even want to go to the hotel with you because he had his fiancée. He even told you that. But you told him that you still loved him and that he owed you one more night of fun.
I never did any of that. He was the one that asked me to go. And when I went, I asked him to wear a condom, but he never put it on when he climaxed. It was all him.
Bull crap. But whatever. You both are not my problem, and you both landed yourselves in such horrible situations. Whether it was him that got you pregnant or you that forced him to get you pregnant, you agreed to have sex with him while married to my son. You are not going to try and make yourself look any better now because it's already way past that point.
Please believe me. Can you at least trust what I've told you, Ellen? I'm telling you that your son is trying to take all of this way too far, and he is really going to ruin my life. You're supposed to be the nice one, so please stop him before it's too late.
Sorry, but I will never, ever be helping out the woman that hurt my son in so many ways, even if she is going to burn in hell. Because I actually want to see you burning in hell after this. I'm sure you can't tell, but I am fuming at the fact that you hurt my son in so many ways. Well, I'm not going to let a demon like you hurt him any longer. You pay off everything my son asks you for, and once that's all finished, you crawl back into the hole leading to the hell you came out of. After that, my son was able to get his money from both the man that Kim had been cheating on him with and herself. After that, Kim was left with no money at all and had to take herself and her baby back home to her parents. She had Lynn with her, so her parents could not say no to letting them stay. However, they were not going to help her pay any of the debt off she'd gotten herself into. But soon after starting to live in their house, the relationship between her and her parents turned even worse. In the end, she left their house for good and started a job somewhere far away and has been paying her debts off little by little while also never going out to see anyone. Her baby went to her parents, who started to care for her on their own. As for the man that had Lynn with Kim, after having to pay off the settlement to my son, his fiancée left him. There were already a lot of bad stories floating around about the guy and what he'd done, but the story of him having to pay my son after having a baby with my son's wife really started to make things look really bad. This only fueled the rumors that spread about him, and people began to say he had committed crimes and things like that, which to me is not all too difficult to believe. As of right now, he's on the streets, having been kicked out of his house by his fiancée, and has gone back to his ways of sleeping with all kinds of women. When it comes to my son, it took a long time for the wound that had been caused to his heart to start scabbing over. But recently, things have been starting to look better for him, as he's found himself a new girl. and she's been helping him heal that wound right up. I was actually the one to show him to her, as she's the daughter of one of my good friends, and I'm so glad to see she cares so much for him. She's a really calm girl and happens to fit perfectly with my son's personality. I'm thinking that with a little more time, she'll be able to make him forget all about the horrible past he's lived through, and he'll be smiling like his old self once again.
Sherry, this is your grandma. I wonder if you're getting this message from me.
Huh? Grandma? You have a phone number too?
Yes, that's right. Your dad was able to get me a new phone and gave me your number for me. All the other people my age in the neighborhood said they've started texting their grandkids, and I wanted to do the same.
That's amazing, Grandma!
This way I'll be able to talk with you a lot more. But this smartphone is really amazing, and more people my age are starting to use them finally. I've started to even talk more with some of my other friends now too. I was really late to this party, wasn't I?
Everyone in my school all have smartphones and are texting each other all the time. But recently we've all started to use other apps to message as well.
Oh, is that so? I've heard of something called Instagram.
What? You know about Instagram now too?
I've started to use it on my computer, but I hear you can go on there now on your smartphone too. I think this gadget is just wonderful for people like me that love to stay updated all day.
I wish you would have gotten your phone a lot sooner.
I do too. Before, I thought about getting one would be too much of a hassle for me, but now that I'm into it, I'm really loving my new phone. All of these little stickers are really cute as well.
You're talking about emojis? They're all really cool and funny.
Well, I'll start using them more from now on, once I've gotten used to the phone itself.
I can't wait.
Well, you can teach me sometime how to use them correctly. That's right. I've already heard this from your dad, but is he out of the house on a business trip?
Yes, he is. It's been quiet here now. He told me that he'll be away until the end of the month for work.
That's what it looks like to me. Well, your dad says that he's lonely without you around too.
Well, then he should hurry up and come back home.
That's right.
Can you wait 1 minute, Grandma? Ive!
Huh? What was that?
I'm sorry. Avery took my phone from me for a second there and started to type on it without knowing what to say.
I see. Well, Avery is still not carrying a phone herself, right?
She has a toy one, I guess, but she can only use it for emergencies to call Mom or Dad. It's not a smartphone like ours are.
I'm sure she really wants to use her older sister phone a lot now, right?
Well, I only just got my phone last year after I finished 5th grade in elementary school. Avery still has to wait another 4 years before she can get her phone.
Well, to her, 4 years is a very long time, I think. By the time she gets into her 5th year at school, you'll be in high school, right?
What? In high school? That's right. I only have to be in middle school for 3 years, so I will be in high school by then.
I wonder what you'll be like when you get to high school, Cherry. I can't wait for that time.
I want to become even more cute than I already am. I want to become a singer in the future, so I have to be cute all the time.
Wow. That's a really good dream to have, Sherry. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sorry, Sherry. I've been talking a long time with you this time.
It's okay, Grandma. It's Saturday now, and all I'm doing is babysitting Avery at the house.
That's so mature of you.
Also, during my birthday this year, Dad will be on a business trip again and won't be home to see me.
Next week is going to be your birthday, right? That's too bad.
It really is.
Well, is your mom home right now?
Mom she went out shopping?
Is that so? All right then. Well, good luck babysitting Avery for the day while your mom is out of the house.
Thank you.
The next time I talk with you, I want to try video calling one another, okay? Then I can talk with Avery as well on the phone and see the both of you together. See you again, Sherry. Hello, Tia. This is Clayton's mother, Greta. I hope these texts are getting to you.
Huh? Is this you, Greta? Did you end up finally getting yourself a smartphone?
Yes, that's right. I only just got it yesterday, though. Do you have a little time to talk with me right now?
Sure. Is there something that happened with you?
Well, this is about Sherry and Avery, actually. Right now, my son is on a business trip, correct? Well, since he's gone for a little while, I was wondering if I'd be able to take the both of them on a small trip with me somewhere.
What? Does my husband being out of the house for business have anything to do with that?
Well, yesterday when talking with Sherry, she said she has a lot of free time on her days off from school. And you know that next week there is that holiday coming up, right? Also, there is Sherry's birthday coming up as well. So myself and my husband would really like to take the two of them with us to someplace fun, where they can take a break and play around.
Ah, is that what you're talking about? Because I'm going to have to say no thank you. There are plans for us to go out of the house for a bit on that holiday.
Oh, is that so? Well, if you're all going out, I'm sure Sherry will be happy.
I'm sorry that her and her free time made you want to try and use your time to entertain her. But you really do not have to worry about those two, since I'm always around to look after them and entertain.
That's not what I meant by that. What I said had nothing to do with me questioning whether you're looking after them or not. I just thought that since they'll have some time off coming up, my husband and I would really like to see them then.
I can see that.
Well, at the very least, if around Sherry's birthday, my husband and I could come over for a chance to see her. We can even wait for a time when my son is back in town, all right? I'd be really happy to see everyone's faces again.
Understood. Let me talk with Clayton about that then. Greta, can I mention one thing to you?
Sure, go right ahead.
I had a look at the messages you were sending to Sherry yesterday. Can you please stop talking to her for such a long period of time like that? That girl has been on her phone a whole lot recently, and I've warned her so many times now to stop looking at it all the time.
I'm so sorry about that, Tia. I only just got my smartphone, and I was really looking forward to texting my granddaughter. Next time I'll make sure to only spend a couple of minutes texting her.
That would be great, thank you. There are a lot of kids her age these days that are totally addicted to their phones. I want to make sure she's not getting herself into any trouble.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Well then, I look forward to hearing from you about plans for Cherry's birthday. And of course, if we'll be taking her out somewhere for her birthday, we'd love to take Avery as well.
All right, sounds great. I'll get in touch with my husband about it then. And then I'll have him tell you what's going on then.
Grandma, are you awake right now?
What? Sherry? What are you doing awake so late in the night?
Yay! You are awake after all! I really want you to come and help me. Actually, I'm already on the way to your house.
What? You're coming to my house? Why are you coming to my house this late in the night?
Avery has a really bad fever right now and her head is burning hot. I don't know what to do to make her feel better, and she can't even walk on her own anymore. I have to carry her right now, and I'm trying to find your house, but it's too dark out and I'm lost. We're at the park right now taking a break.
The park? What park are you at, though? Is there a sign somewhere with the name of the park on it?
I can't find any sign.
How many minutes has it been since you left your house?
It's been an hour now.
Oh my goodness. Well, it takes about an hour to walk all the way to my house, so you might be close to me. All right, I'm going to call the police right now.
Wait, you can't. Do not call the police.
Why not?
If Mom finds out about this, we'll be grounded forever.
You'll be grounded forever.
Please don't tell Mom about any of this, please.
Are you sure? Where is your mom? Was she not at home with you guys?
I can't tell you.
Sherry, we can talk about your mom later on. For right now, I need to find out where you and your sister are at, okay? That's why I want to call the police and have them help me search for the two of you. That will be the most quickest way for me to find you two.
But, wait. I think I know what street your house is on.
Are you sure?
I think I know. I'm going to start carrying Avery again. We'll be at your house very soon.
Sherry, please slow down for a second. If you are lost and don't know where to go for certain, you should stay put. Are you seeing my text? Sherry? Your grandma's coming for you right now, so please do not move.
What? Greta? Why are you trying to get a hold of me at this time? Are you sleepwalking or something and that's why you called so many times?
I'm wide awake right now, actually.
Then are you just doing this to me to try and pick a fight? Greta, it's way too early in the morning for crap like this from you, all right? Everyone is asleep in my house, so we can save all this until tomorrow morning. I'm still half asleep right now and can barely even text you.
Well, I want you to become fully awake right now, because there is going to be a lot of texting going on.
Huh?
Both of your kids and I are at the hospital right now. So what did you mean when you said everyone in your house was asleep right now?
My kids are in the hospital? What are you even talking about?
I'm telling you that both Sherry and Avery are in the hospital with me right now. It seems as though you're not at your own home right now.
No, I sure am, Greta.
No, you're not. My husband went over to your house to go and see for me. He pushed the doorbell over and over again, and nobody ever came to the door. There wasn't even any movement within the house from any kids. Also, he told me that there were no cars in the driveway.
I have my car in the shop right now, so there wouldn't be any at the house. And I never heard the doorbell ringing at any point. I'm a heavy sleeper after all. Now tell me why you think my daughters would be at the hospital with you right now.
Avery had a very bad fever running, and Sherry had to carry Avery for over an hour, all the way to my house in the middle of the night. They both had to come over an hour to my house in the pitch black with nothing more than their pajamas on.
Why? Why didn't those two wake me up then if they wanted to go to your house?
Tia, you do not have to lie to me about being at your house anymore.
I'm not lying to you right now. I'm on my way to the hospital right now. Which one are they staying at?
Stop that. I don't want you anywhere near either of your daughters anymore. Sherry was very kind and told me about everything. She told me that normally, when my son is out of the house for business, you'll leave the place as well to go out. You'll leave your 6th grader in the house to babysit your 1st grader, and then sometimes not even come home until the following day.
I'm not doing anything like that. I told you that I've warned that girl many times not to go on her phone all the time. I think she's just lying to you about me now to make me seem like I'm evil or something.
Whether it's all the time or not very often, it is a fact that during all this, you were not at the house watching over them, right? We've already been to your house to check on things, so we no longer want any more of your lives.
Well, what's happened is I had an old friend of mine come into town after who knows how many years, and so I went out with them.
And is it normal for you to still be out of the house at this time of night when you have your 2 kids you need to watch? You have responsibilities.
Sherry is a 6th grader now, and she can handle herself. I trust her a lot, so I thought she could handle everything on her own.
This has nothing to do with you trusting her to care for things herself or not. I get that a 6th grader can stay home for a little bit by themselves and handle things. But you also have a 1st grader in your house as well, right? Also, I feel that you can only leave Sherry home for a couple of hours, especially when she has to watch another child. But leaving the 2 of them for the whole night to fend for themselves?
When I left the house earlier, Avery was doing just fine and didn't have a fever.
Then what happened that time Sherry tried calling you before she had to try coming to my house? Going into the night, Avery's condition seemed to worsen, and Sherry didn't know what to do. Sherry showed me that she both sent you some text and called you, but you never got back to her. That's why Sherry had to end up texting me for help, as she was on her way over with Avery. My son's not even in town right now, so there was no way to ask him for help. Did you tell Sherry to never tell her father about how you've been leaving the house all the time when he's gone?
I had no choice this time. I was a little stuck on what to do myself, but I haven't seen this friend of mine in so many years, and I really wanted to see them.
But you knew that by leaving the house for the night, you'd be doing something horrible to your kids, right? That's why you told Sherry to not tell him anything, right?
Clayton happens to really want to make sure both the kids are looked over at all times. That's why I didn't want him knowing anything.
Well then, if you didn't want to cause any trouble, why did you not come home earlier in the night after seeing your friend for a few hours? Also, you could have easily asked myself or my husband to watch after Sherry and Avery while you're gone.
It all came up so fast, so I didn't think it'd be okay to ask you guys last minute.
It came up so fast, and that's why you should have been able to ask us for help. Also, that person you're with right now isn't some longtime friend of yours anyway, are they?
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm asking you whether or not that person is someone you're having an affair with right now or not. You were up to something that's really no good, and that's why you didn't want to ask my husband and I to look after the kids.
What the heck are you talking about right now? There is no way in hell I'd do that to Clayton. I love my husband a lot and would never.
Sherry seems to think otherwise. She knows about you being with another man. You often get picked up by him when he comes over to get you at your house, right? Well, Sherry has seen that happen quite often now. Also, she's been able to see you talking to another man on your phone. Sherry has known about this happening for a long time now, but has said nothing to Clayton because she doesn't want to hurt the family. She doesn't want to ruin the happiness that her dad and little sister still have. She knows exactly what you've been up to and what that'll mean for the family. You have been destroying the feelings of a 6th grader for the longest time now. Did you know that? Did you know that she has felt so much pain watching her own mother love another man?
You have it all wrong. I've just been picked up and dropped off by my friends. I am really not doing anything sexual with any of them.
Tia, I've had enough of this crap from you. Sherry has seen and read some of the messages you and your man send back and forth.
And I'm saying that those are all lies coming from her.
Don't you dare start calling her a liar because she knows about you cheating on Clayton. Sherry is a very smart little girl and knows what she's seen. There were even pictures at times on your phone. Pictures of a man's private parts. Anyway, to be sure that at some point in the future, if she ever needed them, she took some pictures of the messages you guys would send to one another. So there is evidence of all this.
Is that right?
Yes. So there is no use in trying to lie your way out of this, Tia.
I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, so you're finally going to confess to it all?
Greta, I'm so sorry. I just had a small urge that led me to doing something like that. So can you please refrain from telling Clayton anything about this? Please, please, please.
You're asking me to keep all this a secret from my son now as well?
Sherry has done a very good job not telling anyone so far. I don't want you wasting all the energy she's put into keeping this a secret for the sake of the family.
The only reason she kept all of this a secret was because you told her not to say anything to your husband about it. Stop trying to make this all seem like something she's okay with letting go unseen.
I promise, I really promise that I'll never do anything like this again, okay? I'm really sorry for everything. My husband is on business trips a lot of the time, and so I've been very lonely. I've made sure that this other man doesn't develop any feelings for me, so you don't have to worry about a situation like that.
You are right saying that my son is gone a lot from work, and that it is hard on you. But you're not the only one that becomes lonely during those times. My son is also lonely, and so is Sherry and Avery. You cannot start blaming something like this on one person or the other, because what Clayton is doing is bringing in money for the sake of the family by being away all the time. I'm sure my son doesn't want to be gone all the time either. You and him can find some way to fix this issue between you two, but please do not get my granddaughters wrapped up in it.
I'm sorry. I promise to never do anything like what I've done again. Can you please just forgive me for this in some way? I will never leave my daughters at home anymore while I go out.
It's too late for that now, Tia. The reason I've had to reach out to you in the middle of the night like this is because you left your kids to fend for themselves while one of them has been sick. Sherry has told me she doesn't like you anymore and wants to tell her dad that you are a bad person and are not to be trusted.
What? Then what the heck is going to happen to me? Has my husband said anything about this? I do not want for us to get a divorce now.
Sherry was right to come to me about this. It's crazy that while your kids are in the hospital right now being treated, you still have not once asked anything about them or showed any worries. Even now, you're only caring about what'll happen to you, and only you. Well, he has every right to do what he's doing, and that's thinking about divorcing you. I want you to start getting prepared for that, please.
I don't want to, Greta, please. Can you find some way to help me get out of this? I'll do anything you ask me to, so find a way to tell my husband that this was all just a lie and that Sherry and I have been in a fight. Please, I'm asking you to please help me.
I'm sorry, but there's nothing else I can do for you. Also, you hurt your daughter's feelings by having that affair. To be honest, I don't want you taking care of my grandkids any longer. Not only did you cheat on my son, but you also wanted his daughters to lie to him about it. I will not allow you to watch over Sherry and Avery any longer. If I had to leave my grandkids in the hands of someone that thinks she can use them to run away from her affair, then I'd never be able to forgive myself. After that, my son was able to get a divorce from Tia, and in that divorce, he was given full custody of the kids. And after a lot of paperwork and such, he was able to get a settlement from both Tia and the man she had been sleeping with behind his back. Tia tried to go back to her parents' house after the divorce, but when they both heard about what had happened, they chose not to forgive her. She was immediately told to leave their house upon arrival, and so she was no longer allowed to be around them anymore. She then tried to go back to her secret man who she had been sleeping with for some time now, but even he would not let her come to his house anymore. And I can totally understand why. Because from what I've learned, she lied to him about ever having a husband at that moment and told him she had a babysitter at her house at all times to watch her kids so that she could leave the house. He has to pay for having an affair with Tia like he'd been doing, but at least I know that he's nothing like Tia, thinking it was okay to lie about things that she had and leave 2 young kids home all alone. As of right now, Tia is working a low-level job full-time and is paying child support to Clayton for both the girls. She is doing so from a small apartment outside of town and is sharing it with some other people to try and save on rent. And Tia had made some plans to go out and see her younger daughter Avery for a little bit, but Avery's older sister was not willing to see Tia. Sherry told us that she no longer wanted to be around Tia anymore, and so we all had to respect her wants. Tia finally seemed to learn just how horrible of a thing she'd been doing to her husband and kids, and has been regretting it all a whole bunch. But when it comes to Sherry, I think it will take her a bit longer to process all that's happened between her parents. And as for Avery, I'm sure she'll begin to wonder why she's no longer living with her mother anymore. After some time has passed, I'm not sure how things will go for both my granddaughters, but the sins that Tia committed that left her family in ruins will not be forgotten by anyone. If she really wants to be like their mother again, then she needs to learn that she can never do anything like that again to them, and then maybe she'll be able to call them hers again someday. As for my son and his girls, they all have to come to live inside my house with my husband and I. Normally, when my son would have to go away for business, he'd leave the kids with Tia, who would then leave them at home alone. But now, my husband and I will be home to take care of them while he's gone, and we'll both make sure to spoil the heck out of them. Sherry is happy to finally not have to take care of both her sister and herself anymore with no adults at home. And Avery is happy to finally have some new faces in her house that she can play with at any time. Although everyone seems to be really happy with the way things have turned out, Sherry is still not ready to forgive Tia for what she's done. I really do think it'll be a very long time before she is able to process what Tia had done to her and all the trauma that has caused. I'm aware that the rest of the family really cannot do anything to help her get through all this internal struggle she's having. But in order to make the process easier for her, we'll do everything in our power to let her relax and have fun here. I'll work my hardest to ensure that both my granddaughters live in an environment where they can learn things properly without having to experience any more horrors like before. And with the help of my husband and son, we are going to make both their lives here the best any child could ever hope for.
John, dear, the doctor just finished examining your mother.
What did he say?
It seems like her condition is worse than I expected. He said she'll be hospitalized right away.
Oh, I see.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I was prepared for that since I found out about her disease.
But maybe she'll improve after her treatment. I think she'll be fine.
You're just saying this because she's not your own parent.
Please don't say that. It hurts my feelings.
But aren't you pleased my mother got sick?
What? I don't understand what you're talking about.
She always treated you like her daughter-in-law, right?
Well, that's true, but there was nothing bad about that.
Okay, I see. You're a very kind person. Yes, of course. How could I forget? You know, it's very sweet of you that you suddenly started to love her when she got ill.
Listen, John, I am really sorry about what happened to your mom, but you shouldn't say things like that. How about I come to visit you today so we can spend some time together? You know how much I love you. I really want to support you.
No, you know what? It's all good. Don't worry about me. I'm sorry I talked like that. I wasn't right. I don't want to put any pressure on you.
Don't worry, I understand, John. Everyone would become upset if their parents got sick. I get it. I'm here for you. Anyway, when will you return? It seems like your mom really wants to see you.
Well, it'll be hard for me. You know I have been working hard recently. We're busy now at work this time of the year.
But can you come after your work?
I don't think it's a good idea either, because by the time I get to the hospital, it'll already be closed for the visitors.
How about your lunchtime? Or let's say Saturday or Sunday?
No, I can't.
What do you mean? You work without any weekends? That's not good. I remember when I used to work full-time, I worked a lot, but never on my weekend.
It's different nowadays. The responsibilities are growing and the salary stays the same. And I need to work hard, otherwise it won't make my ends meet.
Okay then. So, you also worked last Saturday, right? I just don't want you to be overwhelmed. You promised me you'll take good care of yourself. Maybe I should switch to a full-time position.
What? Who would take care of Mom then?
You're right. I'm sorry. You know I'll do anything for you and your mother.
Don't be. It's my fault. I shouldn't have blamed you. I'll stay at the hotel tonight.
What? But why?
I need to be alone and think about everything. I'm trying to clear up my head.
Okay, I understand. But don't overthink it. You can call me anytime. If you feel lonely or sad, please call me.
Okay. I will. I promise I'll be back as soon as possible. Just need to clear my mind. 2 months later.
John, can you please answer to Mom's message at least? I understand you can't come to visit her. I feel sorry for Mom.
But I visited her once.
Exactly, only once, and she's been in the hospital for about 2 months now.
Okay. Please let her know that I'll come to visit her soon in between my work.
Okay, I'll let her know tomorrow, but maybe it's better if you text her directly. I'm sure she'll be happy when she receives your text.
Okay. Just leave me alone. Don't you understand that I'm tired at work? I'm still at the office.
I'm sorry, I understand you're busy. But even the doctor said we should try to spend as much time with Mom as we can while we still have this opportunity. And you know, I also work part-time, so I can't really be there every day. Also, you know your mom, she's not a big fan of me. She really wants you to come.
But I really can't right now. Don't blame me. My mom didn't get sick because I didn't come to visit her.
Maybe that's true, but she's definitely getting weaker now. Her condition becomes worse every day. Before that, she always argued with me and she treated me like I was her enemy, but now when I come, she's just silent. That scares me.
Don't worry about that. I think that's good, though. You come to visit her, so she changed her mind about you. Isn't that good?
Listen, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. My point is that you should be nicer to your mother.
But that's what I'm trying to do. I came to visit her, but just because I can't come to visit her that often, I'm asking you to help me.
Well, but you do have time to go out to the pub. Why can't you call your mom during that?
What? What do you mean? I don't understand you, Samantha.
Well, I saw several bills coming to your bank account from restaurants and pubs.
Oh, are you checking my bank account every day? That's terrible. You really ruined my mood now.
Yes, I do check out, but that's only because I take care of our household bills.
Listen, that was just several times for work. We went out with our customers. That's not what you're thinking about. It's not like I hang out with somebody. That's all part of my work.
Well, that's probably true, but my point is, why don't you make some time and call Mom? She doesn't deserve to be treated like that.
Okay. I'll text her.
Please, when somebody is sick, the best kind of support they can get is the support from their family. You know that. And that's what the doctor has told me as well. So, what time will you be home today?
I'll be home with the last train.
Okay, I got it. Will you need a dinner?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, good luck with your job then. I'll prepare you a bath as soon as you get back home. Be careful. Love you.
1 month later. I will go to a 1-week business trip next week.
Next week? What do you mean, the day after tomorrow? What's the rush?
But I really don't have a chance. I can't change it. My boss told me to go.
But Mom doesn't have much time left.
She will be okay. She still feels okay. I'll go to visit her when I come back from my business trip. Please tell that to Mom. It's a little bit annoying she sends me those messages every day.
But you don't really answer her messages. I don't really understand that.
Well, it's just hard for me to see my mother like that.
I do understand your feelings, but it does sound strange for me. Are you really going for a business trip? Did you tell your boss about your mother's illness?
Are you suspecting me of something? If you have any complaints about my business trip, you should contact my company. It's annoying every time you complain about my business trips. You know that it's your responsibility to go and visit my mother. I asked you for that. Why are you complaining about that all the time?
I'm not complaining, but I really don't understand why you're behaving like this.
I told you, I have work to do. I will go to visit my mom as soon as I come back from the business trip, okay?
But you always tell me you're going to do that, and then you don't. That's very frustrating, don't you understand? I am telling you, Mom doesn't have that much time left.
Even after Mom passes away, the work will continue. What's wrong with me prioritizing the things?
But lately, what you do and what you say are totally different things. What is happening with you? I don't recognize my husband. The truth is, you're not worried about your own mother at all.
I'm sick with all those fights with you. I am very busy at work every day. It's very stressful and you simply don't understand me. I am worried about my mom's health, but her diseases won't disappear if I'm there 24 hours a day. My presence won't change anything.
I don't mean that I want you to be there for that reason. That's not my point. As far as I see it, you just don't care about your mom's feelings. She doesn't have that much time left.
Okay, that's enough, really. Even I get sick when I talk to you about that.
So you really are going on a business trip, aren't you?
Yes, why are you asking? I told you. That's my job.
Okay, I got it. I won't ask anymore.
Also, please don't make any unnecessary calls while I'm on the business trip. I don't want to be disturbed while I'm working. So if you call me, I won't reply. I won't be able to call you back or my mom either. So please tell her not to bother me. 1 week later. Samantha, I'll be back from a business trip today. It's been a really busy week for me. I'm about to catch a flight and then I'll have to take a taxi from Newark. So I'm going to be there in about 4 hours. Or maybe you'll pick me up from the airport?
I can't. I'm at the funeral right now.
Funeral? But whose?
Your mother's.
My mother?
Yes, she passed away yesterday.
I can't believe that. It's been only 6 months since they found out about her disease. She faded too fast.
But I told you her disease was progressing faster than everybody expected. You thought she had a lot of time left, but you were wrong.
But Mom said she had more than a year left.
Well, it was like that at the beginning, but then the situation changed. You really didn't listen to me at all.
Well, I was about to go visit her today. I don't believe you. You're lying to me. Or is it a bad joke?
Listen, I don't joke about things like that. Are you an idiot? How can you think about me this way?
Why don't you call me immediately after she was gone? You should have contacted me right away.
It's because you told me not to call you. And it was your mother's will as well.
What?
Yes, she knew it wasn't your business trip. She told me to divorce you because you're having an affair.
What?
You didn't even come to visit her in the hospital because you were having an affair, and she knew that. She was the one who told me that. Also, she told me not to bother you before she passed away.
Wait a minute. Why are you telling me that right now? My mother was sick. I didn't have an affair that time. Why are you accusing me of that?
Because I know that, John. I also contacted your company.
Stop. Did you? Why? I don't understand. Why did you do such a selfish thing? That wasn't right.
If you're trying to complain, please contact your boss.
Well, I was on a business trip for a while, but it wasn't like I was having an affair.
Your mom told me to check up on you a month ago, so I hired a detective to check on you. I know you were having an affair with a young intern at work. You bought her expensive brand name goods, you were having fun together at her apartment. I know everything.
Did you know about that while I was on my business trip?
Why are you still lying? It wasn't your business trip. I didn't ask you about anything because your mom asked me not to do that. She said she wanted to believe in you one last time. She texted you, right? She said, I want to talk to you, John. Please come. But you never did.
I didn't expect she would pass away so fast.
At the same time, you were fast in spending all the money for your affair. And even worse, you borrowed all that money. It wasn't yours. I know that. You planned to pay it back when you get your inheritance.
I really want to see my mother.
It's too late, John. The cremation ceremony is later this afternoon.
I'm coming right now. Can you please wait?
I think all your relatives will be excited to meet you. They all know you have an affair and that you cheat on me. I can't get over how mean you are. How about you also know that you won't get a penny from your mom? Will you still come? I'm just curious.
What do you mean? I'm her only child.
Yes, you are, but your mom wrote on her will that all the inheritance would be passed on to me.
Even if that is true, there should be a residual amount that should go automatically to my account, because I'm her son. I'm sure I will get it.
No, you won't. I will get that as well. The residual amount is also mine.
But I don't get it. Why you?
It was your mother's will. I'll get about $20,000 altogether.
20,000? But it should be more there. The insurance money should have been included as well.
Did you forget that you've been receiving money from your mom a lot? Those were all her savings.
It's all a lie. What am I gonna do now? I have a lot of debts.
Oh, you are a poor boy. You'll survive. I guess now your affair will break up with you.
Samantha, I'm sorry. I wasn't right. I'll break up with my affair. I only want to be with you.
I don't care about it anymore, honey. I'm getting a divorce.
Please don't do it.
Maybe you think you'll be able to pay your debts if you stay with me. What a fool I was.
No, you don't get it. You're more important to me. That girl's just nothing serious. Trust me.
I was so stupid all that time. First of all, you didn't protect me when your mother was bullying me. Then you forced me to take care of her when she got ill. I handled all that, managed to get a good relationship with your mother, and to top it off, you were having an affair all that time.
It was all my fault. I'm sorry. I'll never do something like that again. Please give me the last chance.
I gave you so many chances before. You are the one who threw them away. I do not want to be with you again. All you deserve is a divorce. A few hours after that, my husband, if I can say so, arrived. All his relatives knew about his affair, so he didn't stay long. They all supported me and said that I deserved to get the inheritance money from my mother-in-law. So I did that. In a couple days after that, I submitted all the necessary documents for a divorce and finally became free after all that nightmare. My mother-in-law also left a letter from my ex-husband where she told him everything she thought about him. And it wasn't a nice one at all. Probably that's one of the reasons he approved the divorce easily. He finally started feeling guilty. He actually cried when he signed the divorce papers. I got all the money, and as for him, looks like he lives alone and constantly borrows money from his friends and relatives. I also know that he pays alimony to the person he had an affair with. I heard that they broke up because he ran out of money and became a broke man. He sometimes tries to call me, but I ignore his calls. Actually, I decided to change my number so he can't reach me anymore. It's been 2 years now since that all happened. I don't blame my mother-in-law anymore and only keep good memories. I visit her grave every year. I am very grateful to her. She helped me to find out about my husband's affair. Her money helped me after the divorce, and then I finally found a good, well-paying job. I don't know what will happen to me, but I will do everything to live my best life.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.